Welcome to an F1 2012 race. Wasn't a very good race for John Kingston in Australia. He had that big accident at the end there on lap 10, and but he's back, and he's back with a vengeance. He's Bruce Willis in a tower surrounded by terrorists. There you go. A little bit of a throwback for you there. But still, he has managed to complete his first objective of the season. He was required to finish to qualify 19th, and he qualified 18th. So it's a place better than he was expected to. So he's expecting a good race here. You know, he had a bad race in Australia. It wasn't good in qualifying. It wasn't good in the race. But he's hoping to put that all behind him and start afresh in Malaysia. So here we go into the race. Let's do it.
Ready.
I love this game. The attention to detail on the steering wheel and the car is just insane. Just look at they've got the little numbers and the dials on it and everything like that. It's awesome. And when you adjust the settings in game, he moves, the hand comes off the steering wheel and then turns like a button on the steering wheel. It's just awesome. Nerdgasms going on in my brain right there. That attention to detail is what makes a game good. Those small little things is what makes a game good. So 18th position, battling with the Force Indias. The back markers behind him. Let's do it. Can he get off to a good start and really get some push for some points this race? He had a disappointing start to the season, but he wants to put that behind him now. So here we go into the first corner. Mayhem may ensue. He comes up the inside of Grosjean, battling for traction as he travels from behind Raikkonen. He gives Raikkonen a little tap there. He's squished between Maldonado and Rosberg. This is just a crazy race. You see Rosberg there just jerking that steering wheel. Bit of debris comes off of the Ferrari up ahead, struggling for grip. Going to come up down on the inside here. See what I can do as he turns the car in. Battling for that grip, not being too hard on the accelerator, otherwise you will spin the car. Massa up ahead, the two South Americans going at it. I've made a mistake. Mexico isn't in South America, it's in Central America. Apologies. As he's starting to lose Massa now. That Ferrari a lot faster than this Toro Rosso. He has the 7-time world champion Michael Schumacher all over his rear. As he goes on the grass a little, and Perez slows him up a bit. Oh, and a little bit of sidestep there from the car. Don't know what sidestep is, just made that up because it sounded good. And Massa did get ahead of Perez, and I still have the 7-time world champion behind me. A feared competitor, although he is old, so he shouldn't be that difficult to keep ahead of. Not stepping on it, not pushing it too hard, and Schumacher's going to get a run on me. I'm not allowed to block him, otherwise it's an illegal race maneuver, and I've got Maldonado up my rear as well. That didn't sound right. Maldonado up my rear. How gay could that possibly sound? As he now takes it to the end of the first lap. 14 laps. It's going to be a tough race for Kingston. He is out of his depth in 9th position. Not usually where he finishes, but maybe he can put an end to that and start finishing in the top 10 a lot more often. Starting to catch that Sauber in the first sector. I've noticed that this car's pretty good in the first sector, and then it sort of falls out of place in the second and third sector. I should explain, if any of you guys don't know what a sector is, it's just the part, it's just that a Formula 1 track is split into 3 parts, and the first sector is from the start finish line to a point sort of like 20 seconds into the lap or something like that, 20 to 30 seconds into the lap, and Schumacher comes up the rear or up my inside and manages to overtake me. And Schumacher I have spun Schumacher out, and I have got a penalty for that. That was a severe move, and that's not good. So we're going to have to head into the pits and take a and he spun it. It's all gone wrong for John Kingston here. It's all gone wrong for John Kingston here in Malaysia. Only 2 laps in, and it's all gone wrong.
Grosjean's following 5 seconds behind you.
Can he do anything to save his reputation? He's making a little bit of a name for himself as the crash kid. It's not good. That's not what he wants. Grosjean up there behind. He's going to be a lot faster. and I'm going to have to try and fend him off. And it's not going to be that useful anyway, because I'm going into pit, get this penalty out the way. 2 penalties in 2 races, not a good start to the season for Mr. Kingston. He's dropping all the way down the grid now. And a disappointing 2 laps to the Malaysian Grand Prix. Can he salvage anything from this race? We'll have to wait and see. Drive-through penalty. It could have been worse. It could have been a stop and go or a disqualification, but it wasn't. So John's now back in the race after serving his penalty. And his tyres are going to be a little bit cooler now due to the fact that he wasn't travelling at full speed through the pit lane. Only a 64 mile an hour speed limit through there. Stupid engineer interrupting me, telling me information I already know. So he's got to really push now to get anything from this race. He has sabotaged his race already, and it's not looking good for Mr. Kingston this particular season. So now this sort of very, very, very long corner, then coming into another longer corner, keeping it in 5th gear through there. A little bit of curves to boost my car's top speed, or acceleration I should say. He will catch up with the back markers. It's just catching up with the middle of the pack where he originally was. He's going to have to rely on the pit stops to get anything from this race, although he will have to come in for a tyre change himself at some point.
Times are looking good.
He doesn't want to finish in 24th again, or he doesn't want to crash out again. He wants to finish a race. If anything today, he has to finish the race. That's the most important thing. He is starting to catch the back of the pack, and he's got some work to do in, well, not that many laps. 12 laps to do this in. It's crazy. Got a little bit wide, a little bit too deep into that corner. Lap 4 out of 14. Using some of that curves. He's got to catch up as quickly as he can, otherwise he's not going to be able to get anything. There's debris on the track. 2 cars must have collided up front. Looks like the back markers are in a little scrap of their own. Oh, and Glock's getting out of shape there. Going to take him on the outside. Take Carthagena out, and then come up the inside of Vitaly, Petrov, and 3 places up in a matter of a few corners, which is a good reputation thing for John. He wants to be known as the overtake kid, you know, the aggressive kid who gets it right all the time and scores lots of points. That's what he wants.
We don't think it's affecting his performance, so keep pushing.
Is he the guy that lost the front wing? No idea. But he's doing very well of it. He's managed to get quite far ahead of the other back markers. Up this very, very, very tight hairpin there.
You've got a small lead over Petrov. Push harder.
Coming towards the end of the 4th lap. He will have to come in for a pit stop soon, in a couple of laps' time on lap 6. But he has still got a long way to go yet. Anything can happen. So Alonso sets the fastest lap of the race, a 1:40.4, very quick. He's like 14 seconds quicker than my fastest lap. I'm going to pit on lap 6 because I want to utilise as much of my on-track time as possible. That's very important. Sorry.
Lotus have given Raikkonen a set of prime tyres. He's on the prime
So the
tyres.
5th lap. He's managed to do some catching up now after having that little incident with Schumacher at the beginning of the race and getting that penalty, which I think was a little unfair. He was a little bit too close to Schumacher, I grant you, but I mean, Schumacher should have moved out the way, really. He had enough space to do it. But I think we were both at fault for that accident. Unfortunately, I got the penalty. Up the inside of De La Rosa. De La Rosa yields, and that's a good overtaking manoeuvre from John Kingston there. Was that De La Rosa? Yeah, it was. Charles Pic next, the young French boy, or man, I should say, is next on Kingston's hit list. He goes a little bit on the grass there, pushing this car to its absolute lengths. My teammate is a few places ahead of me. That's not going to do him well in the teammate battle in this particular game. You can battle your teammate for driver status, so if you can get to...
You're faster than the car ahead.
I'll wait till this engineer stops talking. If you manage to beat your teammate in qualifying and in races, you get upgrades first, I think. He'll get upgrades last, and you'll be a lot faster than him, and you'll get the first driver promotion. As we come now down to the very long straight, which leads on to the end of the lap. Lap 5 out of 14, he's managed to do a 1:44. He's catching up with the big boys now. That's a promising sign. Brings the car as far to the inside as possible, steps on the gas, and he ends the 5th lap of this race, putting in a 1:45.
Okay, like the car ahead is trying to create a gap.
And he has to pit this lap, and it's going to be a hectic pit stop battle. Lots of cars are going to be going in. Can he utilise this pit crew at this pit stop stage? Can he get ahead of the cars up ahead of him? Will they make mistakes? Who knows? This is just a very crazy race. So I might rack the fuel up to mix 3, which is the fastest. Oh, the car got out of shape there. It really wanted to spin. I could feel the tyres going there. As you can see, the tyres are getting worn, which means that they'll lose grip and they'll be very difficult to race on. So changing them is our next priority. And he'll want to change to the faster set of tyres, which are the prime tyres, I think. I'm not sure. But if I've made that mistake, then I will lose a lot of time, because they will go onto the yellow striped tyre, which is faster than this white striped tyre. I don't want to lose it on this last bit of the lap. The tyres are pretty bad. I can feel it squealing, especially if you're racing this. The controller's vibrating and everything like that, making it telling me that this car is really struggling under the levels of grip that it's been given. I can't step on it, otherwise the car will spin. And as you can see, everyone's making a dash for the pit stop, and it's all going mental in there. As he now follows in behind the Marussia of Peak, he has to put on the new tyres now. Into the pit stop. The safety car is an addition in this game, which will come out when there's an accident somewhere on track. And in he comes to his pit lane. How many seconds? How many seconds? We're coming up to 3, 4.
Exit now.
There we go. I don't think he did get a position. He gained a position over that Marussia, which is good. And now he can start making up work and making up time on Kovalainen.
So look after your tyres.
Step on the curves a bit, and that HRT is very slow as I make mincemeat of both of them. Oh, he lost his front wing. That's why he was so slow. And it slowed that Caterham up, making easy work of those two cars there. Now I've got 8 seconds to make up on Michael Schumacher, the one who we crashed with at the beginning of the race. Caused us to have a penalty. If we didn't get that penalty, I wonder where we'd be now. Penalty system's very harsh in this game. Making a little mistake like that, and you're going to be sent to the back of the grid. It's as simple as that. Your race is over. But anything can happen. It's Formula 1. It's a mental sport. So we need to make up time on Michael, and I don't know if we'll be able to do it because that Mercedes is fast. And I've got a little bit of dirt on my right tyre there, which isn't going to help me with grip, and I'm going to have to wait until that cleans up, as it will naturally do so as the tyre is spinning at a very high speed. Coming now down to the final sector, here in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Looks like a few people are pitting there. My teammate is pitting. Don't know if I'm going to be able to get to him yet. I think that someone might be pitting. Got to pay attention to the track. I'm looking at that little mini map in the bottom left-hand corner of your screen. It's very useful. It gives you an idea of where cars are. And will I gain a place? Will I get out of the top 20? I do. I managed to get past Kovalainen there. Coming now into the first corner. We have made some time up. We're 7 seconds now away from Schumacher. We were 8.
We think the car behind is running on full revs. He's trying to close the gap.
I'm running on full revs as well, which is the rich mix, making the engine work a little bit faster. squeezing that power out of that engine and making the car very fast. As he runs it a little bit wide there, he couldn't step on the brakes too much, otherwise the car would have started spinning. A little bit of brake power there to keep it in 5th gear. And we now come up to this corner, very tricky. Got to keep the accelerator down. You can't step on the brakes there. You'll lose time. Very important to keep your times pretty consistent and improve on them. No more pit stops now. It's just a straight dash to the end of the race. You could feel the car squealing there as it almost came out of under control. Oh, and it almost stepped out again there. Managing to keep this Toro Rosso in line. This thing needs upgrades and needs to be developed as quickly as possible, because Toro Rosso have got a undeveloped one on their hands here. Coming now to the end of this lap, and I don't see that we're making too much progress on those guys ahead. They are substantially further ahead than us. Someone is pitting, which is going to be useful to gain us more positions. I think 17th was the position we're meant to finish in, so we'll get that upon this overtake here. A little bit of curves, and that is 17th. I'm not sure what our targeted position is this race, but my teammate Mr. Ricciardo is doing much better this race than me. If I didn't get that penalty and didn't have that accident, I could be in the points now, having a ball with the big dudes, but no, instead I'm down here with the slower cars. Not really where he wants to be in his first season, but you know, that's Formula 1, anything happens. And, it's just the way it goes, unfortunately. 9 out of 14. He's setting a nice consistent pace around the track now. He's got himself into a little bit of a groove. He kind of looks sort of comfortable. There's a few problems with grip and stuff like that, but it's the early stages of the seasons and cars are going to have teething problems, and that's just the way it goes again, unfortunately. Nice little braking point here. I believe the next race is in China, which is another tricky track similar to this one, and that will certainly test Mr. Kingston out, and
we need to keep up the pace. The gap to the car behind is 4 seconds.
And really challenge his racing abilities. So again, we're 8 seconds behind the rest. No real time improvements have been made, although we are substantially further ahead of Kovalainen, which is a positive sign. 6th gear. 7th gear. Any more pit stops? No, pit stops are done now, I think. Nobody else will be coming in unless they need to repair damage on their car. And as you can see, there was 24 cars, but someone has retired from the race. That will go down. Over 100% race, that number will go down even further. Due to the fact that, you know, things happen, unlike in the past Formula 1 games where nothing happened. Everyone just raced around in a circle, you know, on the track, and nothing happened. No retirements, no engine failures, no nothing like that. But this time it's a little bit different on the 100% races. I've done them all. I've done a whole season with 100% races, and things happen. Safety cars get called in. Weather changes happen a lot. I don't know if we'll see any weather because it's only a 14-lap race, which is a 25% distance race out of the 100. So I don't know if we'll see any weather. Although it does look like it might rain here. So I'd like to see some rain, some challenging wet weather driving, but I cannot promise that. Lap 10 out of 14. Will he finish this race? Let's find out. Oh, and he's put it on the gravel. That's bad. That is a bad decision there. He put that on the grass. He misjudged the car. Oh, and he spun it. He spun it, but he's kept it again. He has managed to keep that together, which is good driving skills there. And out of control Toro Rosso, and Kovalainen has caught up. You're going to have to be really careful around here. The tyres are very, very hot, and grip is going to be minimal going around corners now. So the tyres are sort of cleaning themselves up, but that was a little bit of a dodgy sector there from Kingston. Toro Rosso's not really handling that well. It feels stiff and it feels sluggish, and he's managed to dip it in the gravel again. And Kovalainen is using curves. He gives him space, but he keeps the
You're a few
position.
places down on Daniel.
And he has now moved up into 16th. Despite all those problems on that lap, he's still moved up a position into 16th due to someone's pit stop, which is positive.
Picked up some marbles. Expect reduced grip until you can wear them off. Stay on the racing line.
We only have 1 lap of fuel now, so we're gonna turn the fuel mix down into standard, which will keep the engine and the fuel tank supplied until the end of the race, because you will run out of fuel and you won't be able to make the finish of the race and you will retire, unfortunately. A little bit of braking, tap braking I call it, keeps the car still at a steady speed, but gives you enough stopping power to make the lap. So Vettel now setting the fastest lap, beating Alonso's 140. He has done a 140 70th of a second, which is a very fast lap. 3 seconds better than my fastest lap, or 4 seconds better than my fastest lap. So as you can see, we are 3 seconds behind the top boys. That is a problem, and that number goes up as you move down the grid. So the Caterham will be about 5 seconds slower than a Red Bull, which is the top car, and a HRT will be about 6 or 7 seconds, and then the Malaysian will be about 8 or 9 seconds behind. It depends on the driver. So yeah, it's a mixture of the car and the driver that makes a good team, I guess. So lap 12 out of 14. Few more laps to go now, and the ever-attacking Kovalainen is now behind us, and we want to make sure that he stays behind us and we don't make a mistake and we don't cave in under the pressure. It's a very grueling race for him. He could have had some points, and he's bitterly disappointed. He's probably swearing inside his helmet right now, going, "God damn it, why couldn't I not crash and get a penalty?" 2 penalties in 2 races. He'll want to bring an end to that. He doesn't want to be sent to the FIA office. That's something that he doesn't want to happen. So we're position 16 out of 23 cars, and Vettel has stormed to another fastest lap, or 1:39.808. Incredibly fast. Formidable pace there from the Red Bull guys. And they are the real world champions in real life. They are the Constructors' Championship holders and the world title holders, with Sebastian Vettel claiming his 3rd in a row, and Red Bull claiming their 3rd Constructors' title in a row. Very impressive achievement. They went from a backmarker team in 2005 to world champions. Good achievements for them. I guess they have the right people doing their right jobs and getting it right, and that's causing them to win a lot of races and ultimately all of the trophies that you can get. So yeah. Wow, and he's dipped it in the gravel again. Toro Rosso are the sister team to Red Bull. I think they were formed in 2007, and this is the final few laps now, the closing stages of this race. Nice long video for you guys. Formula 1. Love this game. It's crazy. It's tough talking for 23 minutes in a row without losing topics to talk about, which is happening fast. And then a nice little bit of pace there, sort of keeping it consistent over these laps. And Raikkonen is down in 17th place, which is a bit odd for a Lotus. It's a very fast car, certainly faster than everything that's down here at the moment. And Vettel's posted another fast lap. He's just posting fast laps every single lap now. He's just storming. He might even be in the lead of this race. I have no idea. Braking now heavily to go into this hairpin. He has difficulties with this corner. The way that the track sort of goes up, loses the grip of the car, and the car wants to slide off all the time. And Kovalainen's fallen right behind, and it's Raikkonen now that's putting on the pressure. As he slows the car down into 2nd gear. And Raikkonen is all over the back now. It's a duel between Kimi Raikkonen and John Kingston. Who will win? Who knows? As he comes up the inside, I'm defending the outside, but he yields, as they always do. think in real life Raikkonen would have dived up the inside there and taken that position, but the AI in this game aren't aggressive. They're good at it. The AI is good, but they aren't aggressive enough. I'd like them to be aggressive. This is on professional as Raikkonen is storming there. Going to be a tough cookie to keep away, man. It's tough because he's a crack, isn't it? Yeah. And the last final lap of this race for John Kingston. I think valiant performance from John Kingston overall this race. It didn't start off good. He got a penalty and had an accident with Michael Schumacher. And Mark Webber is the winner of this race, not Sebastian Vettel. Which means we have 2 minutes 53 to get to the end of the line, otherwise we won't be classified. Or the race will just automatically stop. I don't know what happens after that timer runs out. Alonso sets the fastest lap. Who will it be? Will Vettel take it? Who knows? Don't know where Vettel is. Raikkonen versus Kingston in this final tense lap of the Malaysian Grand Prix here in Kuala Lumpur. Will Kingston have any problems at this dreaded sector of his? No, he doesn't. He keeps it all together. And a little bit tricky there. The car wanted to go out. I could feel it. Last few corners for John Kingston, and he'll get his first ever race finish ever in Formula 1. You should have had it in Australia over that untimely accident at the end. It's the final battle now between Kimi Raikkonen and John Kingston on the final straight, and he's up the inside. Will he make it? But no, he yields far too quickly. He broke way too early there. That was a bad decision there from Kimi Raikkonen, and he loses out on a potential 16th place. And it's a first ever race finish for John Kingston. I think he gets his objective. I'm not entirely sure. He does. He gets it by being in that position. So a good, I think a fairly solid race from Kingston. He didn't crash at the end, but it was a tough race at the beginning for him, having that accident with Michael Schumacher. Mark Webber wins with Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel following him in the second and third. And who was the dude who retired? Nico Hulkenberg of Force India retired. And that was the Malaysian Grand Prix. So tune in for the Chinese Grand Prix, which is the next one. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe, and peace out.